most people think that success happens fast. I mean, to be fair, that's pretty much all you see online. But the truth is, success takes way longer than you think. For you to build anything meaningful, a business, a YouTube channel, a great physique, your portfolio, you need insane amounts of patience and more willpower that you could ever imagine. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly why success takes so long and why most people quit right before they finally take off. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the illusion of getting successful really quickly. And the problem with this is, of course, social media. You see so many people blow up overnight. You see people flexing and all that. Yes, there are some outliers. They might have blown up overnight, but for the most part, you never actually see the 5 to 10 years before someone's fame or someone's success. You never get to see the before. So social media just creates unrealistic expectations because you never see the behind the scenes. You don't see the struggles. You don't see the sacrifice that these people have to go through to actually make it. So some things that you can do to like really put this in perspective, because this is pretty much just a mindset thing, right? And it's all that you see. It's all that you're exposed to. So start maybe exposing yourself to content where people are talking about their story. I watched one the other week. I think it was Marlon. He was talking about his story and how he blew up. Alex Eubank as well. There are many creators out there where they're on a podcast or maybe they're just talking to the camera on their channel. There are so many videos out there. Go and watch a few of them, right? Because you really like start to understand what success looks like and how they built it and like all the rough patches they had to go through. So that's what I suggest you guys do, because you guys really need to like start taking into account how these people got there, and it never happened overnight. That is just almost never the case. There are some exceptions, but it's almost never the case. The next thing that I want to talk about is stop trying to seek fast ways to make money, fast ways to be successful, fast ways to get a six-pack. That is what every single person is searching. If I wanted this video to go viral right now, I would make the title, "How to be successful in the fastest time possible." And then the thumbnail would be like 2 days, millions of dollars, millions of dollars. Everyone would click on that. Literally every single person would click on that. And it's not true. It's very unrealistic. This is why everyone falls for get rich quick schemes. This is why everyone loses a bunch of money, and it makes zero sense. It really does, because no one understands that being successful takes years and years and years. There is no such thing as get rich quick. Same thing with getting a six-pack. Every single person out there, every fat person, every skinny anyone, right, will search up on YouTube how to get a six-pack in 1 month. Maybe summer is, around the corner. So they grind for a month, they look down, and they just do not have a six-pack. And then they just give up. What you should be doing, instead of planning for this summer to get a six-pack, you got to plan for the summer in 2030. So you need to change your mindset. That's what everyone is constantly seeking. And if you are the one person who is seeking the long-term results, you will 100% be successful. So if you're one of those people that are always, trying to find the fastest way to get money, the fastest way to bench 100 kilos, you need to cut that out and you need to shift your mindset to long-term thinking. So this ties into my next point. Your brain is wired for fast rewards. Humans have evolved to seek quick dopamine, food, that's instant dopamine, comfort and safety. That's all we needed. We needed those quick dopamine hits. Being successful in the modern times is completely different. Getting a big bowl of food, you're not going to be successful. Back then, if you had a bunch of food, that's quick dopamine and they're successful. They got food. That is success. But right now, modern success is completely different. You need a business, you need this, you need that, you need a job, whatever it is. This is completely unaligned with how we biologically evolved, because all these things give slow dopamine. They never give you dopamine at the start. Doing work, you're not going to get dopamine whilst you're doing the work, but after you finish the work, that's when you'll get the dopamine. And that's what makes it hard, because our brain is craving instant dopamine. That is why we've got McDonald's. That is why we've got social media, because these companies understand that we're wired for quick dopamine, and that just easily makes us addicted to it and shifts us away from the long-term dopamine, the long-term gratification. So this is exactly what makes this journey very challenging. And my way of countering this is to frequently dopamine detox, make it a part of your life, pretty much, right? On top of being consistent, go to the gym, doing deep work every day. But here's the twist, right? You can allow yourself off days. So if you haven't scrolled TikTok for 3 days because you've been doing a lot of deep work, on the next day, you can allow yourself to scroll more than you do deep work. You're still doing deep work though, so you're still consistent, right? But you can give yourself some off days, because you can't just completely shut out all these things, right? Your brain, it's just impossible, to be honest, unless you're a superhero, right? Unless you're a robot, there's no way that you can completely get rid of your desire to do these sort of things. Sometimes it will even just happen, but it's better for you to actually plan when you're going to waste your time or when you're going to scroll than for you to just mindlessly do it without having any intention, right? So if you plan, okay, on Friday I'm gonna go on my phone for a couple hours and scroll. I'm gonna play video games. I'm gonna do this. If you actually plan when you're going to scroll, you'll end up scrolling much less, and you also won't feel as guilty about it afterwards. So you can allow yourself to scroll, you can allow yourself to play video games, you can allow yourself to eat some junk food every now and then. Maybe, you know, try to steer away from McDonald's and all that, but, you know, have some lollies, have some chips if you like. You need to allow yourself, you can't be a machine, and that's how you, like, balance your brain seeking the quick dopamine and then your actual internal desire to seek the long-term dopamine. That's how you balance it. I might make a separate video going more in depth on this concept because there are a lot of studies that, you know, back this. But yeah, now my next point, I want to talk about the invisible progress phase. Once you start, and first of all, congratulations for starting. That is the hardest part. But once you start, and if you're consistent every day with it, right? After about 1 to 2 years, it'll feel like nothing has happened. Whatever you've started, maybe you're not making any money yet. Maybe you don't have a six-pack, right? But I mean, if you've been consistent for 1 to 2 years, you've made a lot of progress, but it's invisible progress. You actually you can't see it. And this is where most people quit because they don't see any progress. They see zero results. But you need to actually understand how far you've come. So for example, for me, the other day, I was just looking back at my old videos on my other channel, and I was comparing it to my most recent video, and I was so impressed. I was taken away, you know what I mean? Yes, I don't have thousands of followers yet, and I haven't made any money yet, but the amount of progress that I've made and how far I've come, even I've noticed when I'm editing my videos, how much quicker and efficient and how much better I am at it. It's something to, like, you need to take notice of these things because it can really be demotivating after like 2 years of, you know, constant work and you haven't, you know, made any money, or, you know, there's no results. But if you actually, you know, pat yourself on the back and, like, take a look at how far you've come and what you've built, you need to really put on your lens and look for the invisible progress that you've actually made. Because 2 years of being consistent, you've come so far, and you are 2 years closer to actually being successful. And this can be for literally anything, whether you've got, you know, a business, or maybe you're creating websites, coding, gym. Think back to your first ever workout and compare it to now. How much more weight you are lifting. Even if you don't see any physical changes to your body, how much stronger are you since you first started? For me, I couldn't bench the bar when I first started, and now I can bench, I'm repping 50. So I've made some insane progress after 2 years. You just need to really spot them because it can be hard to spot. It can literally blow past your mind and you will never see it. And this ties into my next point. Success compounds very, very slowly. It's like when you're investing. Imagine if you're investing like $1 every single day. After a year, you've only invested like $365. It might not seem like a lot, right? But imagine after like 50 years. That is the exact same thing for a success. When you first start, it'll seem pointless. It'll seem like you're failing and it might make you want to give up. But you need to understand that success compounds very, very slowly, similar to investing. And if you're not investing, if you compare these two, if you understand investing, you will understand success. It's literally, they go hand in hand. They're the exact same thing. You know, investing takes sacrifice. You got to sacrifice, you know, buying coffee every single day. You got to sacrifice buying designer clothes every single paycheck. Same thing with success. You got to sacrifice going to parties. You got to sacrifice wasting your time. Sometimes you got to sacrifice your sleep. And when you invest, you know, little by little, every single day, it'll slowly start to compound and then it'll just explode. That is the exact same concept as being successful. You know, building a business, building a YouTube channel. It is the exact same thing. So if you can like pair these things, if you can do both of these things, you'll get a much better understanding of how success actually works, and you'll be more motivated and you'll be excited, right? You won't feel like you're making zero progress. You won't feel like it's all pointless because you actually understand that just like investing, success compounds very, very slowly and it is invisible at first. And that is the same thing if you're trying to learn a new skill, right? You'll suck at first and you won't know what you're doing. But then after a while, after practicing every single day, eventually you'll be very good at that skill. That is exactly how success works. So if you still don't understand this concept, or you want to like increase your chances of being successful, you need to learn a new skill. You need to invest because these things actually teach you and you'll see the results quicker. Like let's just say you're trying to learn an instrument, right? You'll be able to learn an instrument faster than you'll be able to make $1 million. So you'll actually get to experience success firsthand because you're learning something. And once you first pick up an instrument, you'll be so bad at it. You won't know what to do. It'll be so confusing. And then after like a year or two, you've got the hang of it and you're pretty good at it. And that just puts into perspective of like how success works and how you actually have what it takes because you've actually experienced experienced learning a new skill and you've became successful at that. The people who actually win and become successful are not the smartest people, but most of the time, the most successful people are the most patient people. They stop expecting instant results, they accept that consistency is speed, not speed itself, and they master being okay with slow to no progress at all, because very little progress, even if it's 1% every single year, is still progress. But anyways, that is it for today's video. If you guys found this video helpful, make sure to chuck a like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.